What's up, everybody? Thank you so much for listening. I wanted to put this in the top of the show. Make sure you subscribe on Patreon, patreon.com/Brennan Tassif. Check out the merch store at brennantcomedy.com to get your ex-drinking buddy merch. Subscribe, rate, and review wherever you listen to podcasts. As always, we're coming to you live from Gotham Production Studios, and I hope you enjoy the episode.
Grab me a beer and grab me a coke. We bout to sit for an hour, bullshit and tell jokes. And please don't mix it up, cause he done sobered up. Brennan T Comedy on your social media feeds. And Brennan Tassif is your ex-drinking buddy. Brennan Tassif is your ex-drinking buddy. Brennan Tassif is your ex-drinking buddy. Brennan Tassif is your ex-drinking buddy.
What is up, everybody? Welcome into another edition of Brennan Tassif is your ex-drinking buddy. I am your host, Brennan Tassif. If you're new to the program, quick rundown of the show. I used to be everyone's favorite drinking buddy. It was my favorite thing to do. Hang out with friends, get drunk, do drugs, get in all sorts of trouble, and then reminisce about those crazy stories. I am sober now, but that is still one of my favorite things to do, reminisce about the crazy old days. Most weeks I will be joined by a guest. This week is no exception. All the way from New York City, Austin Boykin.
Hey, what's up?
What's up, Austin?
Oh, living the dream. How are you?
Good. So I really wanted to have you on the show. We've been talking about this for a couple months now. I'm glad we finally got together.
Yeah.
So before we get too far into anything, plug everything up front. Social media, anything you have coming out. I know you guys are on strike right now, but anything you want to promote as far as...
I don't think I can legally promote anything right now. I don't think I can legally promote anything right now. But you can Google me, Austin Jennings Boykin.
There you go.
Yeah, and just go from there.
Pull that mic a little closer to you.
Oh, word.
There we go. So I wanted to have you on because not only do you do stand-up, but you are an actor. An actor!
A very, 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 very serious actor. Like, I'm so serious. It's totally a thing. No, I do. Most of what I do is like super dramatic, very sad. Like I've done a Holocaust thing. I did a mini series about Jewish people going through a divorce. That was really fun.
Okay.
And then there's a period piece coming up that will premiere on October 29th, and I won't say which one it is.
Yes, we cannot promote it legally, but October 29th, any period piece is coming out.
Yeah, you
Austin's
should know.
Gonna be there.
It's so funny.
So how did you, because are you originally from New York?
No, not at all. I'm from North Carolina.
Okay.
Yeah. Just like...
I literally just thought of that PD Pablo song, and I was going to sing it about...
I'm gay. What is PD Pablo?
What, yeah.
I'm like...
I literally thought of it, and I was like, oh, wait, I don't think he'll get the reference.
No, I won't get the reference.
So many questions. How did you get into theater and acting and stand-up? I just assumed theater. I threw that in there.
No. I'm a theater girl. It's funny because like I remember I went to see Titanic in the second grade. And,
okay.
So that like reveals my age. I saw Titanic in 1997.
Did you cry?
No, I didn't cry. No, I wasn't at that point where like it registered that it was like something that actually happened.
Second grade. Yeah,
you know. But I remember I saw Kate Winslet get out of the car, and as soon as like she's wearing this big purple hat, and as soon as the hat comes up and you see her face, I was like, that is what I want to do.
Oh, really? That's what it was?
Absolutely. But I didn't because wait, you're from Florida, right?
Yeah.
So like I'm from North Carolina, and like I didn't know that people could actually like be actors.
Oh yeah,
like, I didn't know
that
that you could actually like have that job. So like I just had this thing in my mind of like, oh my God, I love movies, they're so great. And then I swam competitively, and
where did you swim competitively?
I did club swimming.
Like through, okay.
Yeah. And then I was actually on varsity before I went to boarding school. And I hit this point. I know, so many resources.
So many things to get to.
So many resources. But I hit this point where I quit getting taller, and I was like, I'm not gonna be a swimmer.
Yeah,
like, this isn't
because they're like 6'4", 6'5".
They're
6'6".
Yeah, like Michael Phelps. Actually, his bottom half is, I think it's 6 inches shorter than his torso. So like genetically, I'm there because my torso is longer than my legs, but I'm just short.
Yeah.
So like it's not.
How
gonna
tall
work
are
out.
you?
Like on a good day, 5'10".
Okay.
On the apps, I'm 5'11". In real life.
So wait, real quick, because
Yeah.
2 inches isn't very much. Why did you not just go for the 6 feet?
Because that's just like, that's not believable.
You thought it was too egregious?
Yeah, that I would show up at someone's house and they would be like, you need to go.
Yeah.
Like, you're a liar.
It's interesting because when I played college football, and so we would get measured all the time, like pro days and stuff like that. But they would always measure us in our shoes.
Yeah.
So literally on like the stat sheet, I'm 6'1" and a quarter.
Yeah.
So I'm always like, yeah, I'm basically like 6'2". But if I take my shoes off, people are like, you're not fucking 6'2".
How tall are you actually?
I'm like 6 foot,
okay.
6'1".
So you're 5'11". No, you're not 5'11". I don't know. I'm not gonna make these judgments on you.
No, so yeah, with shoes on, I'm 6'2". So I'd say I'm 6 feet probably. 6'1". 6'1" on the apps. When I was on the apps, I'm not on the apps.
You're not. Well, straight people, you guys don't really. You guys don't. Do you guys have sex apps?
Yeah.
You do?
No, so they do. I'm not privy to them. I have no idea. But Carlos
The comedian.
Gasperi, yeah, a friend of the show, been on the show before, hilarious comic. He talks about some of the wilder apps on stage. He says it on stage, so I think I'm allowed to say here. But yeah, so there are apps for straight people about that kind of stuff. I never found them. In fact, when I was single for a little while, I was Googling sex apps for straight people, and
that's such a weird Google history. People, like, I mean, I think it's Tinder, right? That's the one that Tinder, yeah, Tinder, which gay people use to date, but
I know about sniffies, which I'm not supposed to know about.
Oh, yeah, sniffy. So
Ethan told me about that, and Drew was very upset that Ethan told me about
I don't know
sniffy.
why Drew would be upset about that.
Because he said that's for you guys. It's not for me to know.
It's for us, but like everyone's going to know about it.
Especially now, listen to this podcast.
No, but it's wild because you could go into the bathroom and like you could say that you're
in a bathroom at Maze. Yeah.
taking
Ethan told
loads.
us all
And
about it.
like they'd be like, yeah, okay. So it's totally a thing.
So you realize you're not going to be an Olympic swimmer.
Yeah, no, realize I'm not going to be an Olympic swimmer, and
Don't worry, I'll keep us on track.
it's yeah, no, thank you. And yeah, I realized that I'm not going to be an Olympic swimmer, and I was trying to think of like I needed a hobby at that point in my life, and they were doing this.
How old are you at this point?
I'm like 16. I
So
think.
you realize like, oh, this is as tall as
Yeah, this is not. It's not going to go. It's not going to go any further. And I auditioned for this play, and it was a Neil Simon play, which like is. I'm not going to get into that. It's ridiculous. But it's this Neil Simon play. I auditioned. I wound up getting it, and like from there.
Was this in high school or like a playhouse? Okay.
This was no. This was. It was a community theater production, which like, have you ever done community theater?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's so. In retrospect, it's embarrassing, but at the time, like I thought that I.
Well, I had that whole bit about doing like community theater when I was a kid, and then nobody cared in Florida, and then I moved to New York, and I go, oh yeah, I'm a stage actor.
Oh my god, that makes me mad that you would say that. Like, I'm like, no, you're not. No,
Well,
you are.
But it's the same thing that I say for like, and I've got the other bit where I go, oh, every failed model and actor looks at the thing I put my whole life into and goes, oh, comedy doesn't look so hard.
No, that's
so it's
like,
like my shot at the people who are like, oh, I'll just do comedy.
Absolutely. No, I've noticed that there is a thing. I think maybe I'm wrong. I feel like some stand-up comedians just don't like actors. Like
Some of them.
Yeah.
I mean, I've had a lot of actors on this show. I love because acting is one of my biggest passions.
Yeah.
I love doing comedy.
Yeah.
Because it's a solo thing and stuff like that. But I've always been super into acting. But I understand what you're saying. Where
You do
it's
a good
like,
Australian accent.
oh, I might. Thanks.
Yeah, there you go. What?
But it's just one of those things where I get. It's just. You know me. I love everybody, but there are comics who are like fuck actors, and then there's musicians who are like fuck comics, and it's like a whole thing. And I'm like, who cares?
I want to vape so bad. I'm not going to. I don't. It's bad for you.
I was looking for the cameras, and I was like, oh yeah, there's one right there.
It's right there.
So you do this play, the Neil Simon play.
Yeah.
What do you get cast as?
Oh, I'm the older brother. So that's another thing is that
What was the name of the play?
It was Brighton Beach Memoirs.
Okay.
And I was Stanley. I can't remember. I was playing Jewish.
Oh, you were Stanley.
Yeah.
In Brighton Beach Memoirs.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Yeah.
Oh my god. Okay, you know. Holy shit. So I get it, and then like I guess that's I was like, okay, this is what I'm doing. Like this is what I'm gonna do.
So you knew when you got the part, you were like, oh, this is what I want to do. Yeah.
Like I Googled, I was like, because I hate it. I grew up in Charlotte, North Carolina, and I hated it so much, and I wanted to get out. And I was like Googling arts boarding schools.
Oh, so you did that?
Oh yeah.
Okay. When you said boarding school earlier, I thought you had gotten into some sort of trouble.
Well, I did get into trouble, and
we'll get into it.
Yeah, they were very, very into the idea of me going away. But the decision was mutual. It was very mutual. But like, and I found this. It was the North Carolina School of the Arts, which is like one of the most famous acting schools. It was like number 3 on the Hollywood Reporter.
Get the
this
fuck
year.
out of
Yeah,
here, really?
No.
And
yeah.
it's right in your backyard.
It's in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, and I Google it, and it's very much like an Elle Woods Legally Blonde moment. I'm like, how hard could this be? and I auditioned, and
You live your life by Elle Woods.
I do. I think
You were talking about that on stage
yeah,
yesterday.
it's the hero's journey. It's very. It's a not heteronormative version of the Odyssey. If you remember the Odyssey.
Oh, yeah,
it's
the
like she
Iliad,
goes
yeah.
through. Yeah, is it actually called the Iliad?
Mm-hmm.
I went to art school. I don't know, but I wound up getting in, and like that. It feels like that's kind of when my life started. Like that's when it started getting really fun.
That's when you were like, oh, I found it.
Yeah, like I'm here.
People live their whole lives and never find it.
Oof, that's depressing.
But it's true. I think because we talk to. I'm sure this happens to you because it happens to most of my guests and it happens to me. You talk to people in your life who live the stable, normal life.
Yeah, no.
And it's one of those things where they're just like, what do you mean you don't know how you're going to pay rent? It's like, I'll figure it out. Like, I don't. And they're like, what do you mean you don't have any shows lined up? What do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like this, like they've got 401ks and they've got, 9-to-5s and they've got set retirements and they've got, health insurance. And they're like,
What's that?
Yeah. But then I go, yeah, but you've never been on stage making, 100, 200, 300 people laugh.
Yeah.
At what you you dictate it. And same thing with acting. Like you've never been able to capture 1,000 people's attention before in one single line.
Yeah.
It's like, so fuck off. Like
Yeah.
like,
No, it is that thing.
keep
though.
your health insurance.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, and like it is the thing of like I know me, like I don't. That's so dramatic. Which is we're dramatic people. Like I would crumble. I would die in like a 9-to-5 situation.
I mean, I tried it. I tried it before.
What were
and
you in?
I did financials. So
I knew you were gonna say that.
Financial
Yeah.
services.
Yeah.
Well, so I graduated from college. I majored in political science, minored in American history. I was gonna go to law school, never went.
Wow.
Kept working in restaurants.
Like Elle Woods.
Yes, very
Yeah.
much. Kept working in restaurants. Long story short, met my ex-fiance now, but she was a school teacher, and she was like, "Hey, can you try to like look for a 9-to-5 so we can have the same schedule?" And I said, "Yeah, no problem." I was doing comedy at the time and working in restaurants, but I was like, "I'll do a 9-to-5." 3 months. I lasted 3 months in an office, making calls all day, gained like 30 pounds because I wasn't able to go to the gym. Because they say 9-to-5, but it's really like 8 to 6, 6:30. By the time you get home, you're like, I'm fucking tired. I don't want to go to the gym. And it was miserable. And so like I tried it. I tried to do that thing, but it's just like the whole time I was thinking like I would rather be doing comedy.
Interesting. Now, when did you know that you wanted to get into comedy though?
When I was 12, my cousin showed me Comedy Central Presents.
Yeah.
Which were the half hours way back in, this is, when I was 12, that was, it was 2000. So I saw like Mitch Hedberg and Tom Rhodes, and the listeners know this. I've talked about this before, but then I was like, oh, that's very funny, but I'm not that. And then I saw Dane Cook and I was like, oh, I want to do that.
Dane Cook made you get into comedy?
Dane Cook is the reason I started stand-up.
Wow.
Because I was always a rambunctious, energetic kid. And so when you watch Mitch Hedberg on stage, it's hilarious, but he's just like, so yeah. And I was like, oh, I'm not, like hair in the face, sunglasses on. I was like, I'm not that kind of, like, to me, that's what comedy was. That's what my only exposure was, those kind of comics. And then I saw Dane like pour the water on him and be like fucking wet and shit. And I was like, oh, that looks like I could do that.
I'm just amazed that Dane Cook made you want to get into stand-up
Harmful
comedy.
If Swallowed, I stand by it. All the shit that he gets, Harmful If Swallowed is one of the best comedy albums ever.
I'll have to wait. Can I watch it or do I have to listen to it?
You have to listen to it.
It's an album.
Yes.
Wow. Okay.
This is early 2000s.
Yeah, I will listen to that.
But the listeners are sick of hearing about me. Let's talk about you.
Oh my God, of course.
So
it's my favorite thing to talk about.
How old were you when you went to boarding school?
I was 16. Yeah.
Okay, so this was that you did the play. You realized you wanted it. So this was a
no.
quick
I was
turnaround.
17. I was 17.
Okay.
I was 17.
So still, it was within a year
it was
of
very
doing
quick.
the play.
It was super quick.
You had mentioned that you were getting into a little bit of trouble before.
Oh, yeah.
What was happening with that? Were you just acting out or?
No, I had discovered. I mean, God, it's so weird to talk about this. So like back then, I mean, you probably remember, like we didn't have Molly, we had ecstasy,
Yeah,
which is very different.
just brought this up yesterday.
Yeah, totally different. And I remember I had taken ecstasy tablets.
How old were you when this happened?
Like 16, yeah.
God.
I had taken
16 was a fun year.
Oh, it was
for you.
amazing. It was absolutely amazing. Like loved it. Have no regrets. But I remember I was in I think it was in algebra or something like that, and I had taken.
You took it at school?
No. This is after. It was over the weekend, but I was in algebra and I was sitting there, and there's the 2-day come down from it, and I'm sitting there and I just started crying because I realized I couldn't remember middle school. And I thought that I had eaten, because they told us that it eats holes in your brain. Yeah. And I was like, am I going to?
You have to do a lot for it to do that, though.
Yeah, but
they don't tell us that.
They don't. They tell
us all the horrible side effects, but they conveniently leave out, oh, you'd have to do this every day for 6
years.
Months for it to actually have any effect.
Yeah, which I didn't do that. I didn't have the budget to do that. I'm sure it would have been great, though.
I love how that was your only resistance. It was I just didn't have the budget.
Well, that's how I was dabbling in. It feels so weird to just talk about this. But I was dabbling in cocaine and
Wow, 16 was great for you.
It was amazing.
You can talk about anything you're comfortable talking about.
I also grew up very privileged.
Yes.
So the resources were crushing. But I know, right? But I grew up around bored rich kids, which it's the most dangerous group of people.
So you come from a well-to-do family.
I do. I don't have any of it. We're not on the best of terms. But,
oh, really? You were doing cocaine and ecstasy at 16, and you're not on the best of terms?
Oh man. But yeah, I was getting into drugs, and my family they're very hands off.
Yeah. Very laissez-faire.
Yeah, very very just he'll find his way. And so I was like, oh, boarding school, and they were like, that sounds like a great idea. You should. And I remember my mom drove me to that audition.
What'd you do for the audition?
Oh God.
Tell me you remember.
I feel like I did. I think I did Chris from All My Sons.
Okay.
And my Shakespeare piece was something that's not appropriate at all. It was it didn't make sense. I think I did something from actually it wasn't even Shakespeare. I think I did. No, I did do Shakespeare. I can't remember.
So how did the audition work? Take us through that, because I've never had someone on before. I've had people on who have gone to different academies and schools and acting classes and stuff, but this is a boarding school at 16. Yeah. So how what's the audition process?
Okay, so first of all, probably around 1,000 people are going to audition for. We had 20 slots.
Oh, wow.
So you're gonna have all these kids waiting in this this kind of lounge area, and one by one you're going in. And actually, before you go in, you line up and they take a look at you.
Yeah, they
which
do.
Is very. It's
you loved it.
I did love it, because it's I want. I was I'm ready. And at that point, I thought I was straight too. I almost knocked this water over.
You thought you were straight at that point?
I did think I was straight, because I had come out at 15, and my mom was like, "No, you're not." And I was like, all right, sure.
Go back in the closet, Austin.
She was like, you love Britney Spears, and I was like, yeah.
Yeah, that's the point.
That's the gayest thing in the world.
It's the gayest thing you ever said, Mom.
It's literally, my mom took me to see Britney Spears. That was the good thing that she did, but. So they line you up, and then one by one you're going in and you're doing these monologues, and I don't think anyone is necessarily a great actor at that age, but there was.
Except
I guess
Timothy Chalamet.
I was gonna say Timothy Chalamet. I'm not into it. I just he's so he's just precious. I love Lucas Hedges. I think Lucas Hedges is a brilliant actor.
It is interesting to see some of these people when they're younger, because Timothy is obviously, everyone gets older.
Yeah.
But there's people like Jesse Plemons who is
fucking brilliant.
Brilliant.
Fucking brilliant.
I remember him as the kicker in Friday Night Lights.
I've never seen that in my life.
He's a child, obviously, because he's playing a high school kid. And then to see him in some of these other roles, and he's so good, I was like,
it's experience.
That's the guy from Friday Night Lights. Yeah. But it's just so weird to see him when they're babies, and now.
Well, you can go back and watch Natalie Portman. I think she had her first screen role she was 7 or something, and now she's phenomenal.
She was in Leon the Professional.
I don't even know what that is.
It's a movie about a hitman, but she plays the little girl that he tries to rescue.
I think I've seen her audition on YouTube for that. Yeah. Or she was actually going back to Britney. She and Britney were both Broadway kids. So
really,
yeah. But Anyway, so I go in, I do the audition. They ask you a series of questions that are like really hard for a teenager to answer. Like, you know, is this what you want to do? They're very serious. They're theater people. Like, and I had like minimal to no.
That's an ironic sentence. They're very serious.
Very
They're
serious
theater people.
No, theater is extremely
yeah.
serious. Like that is something that the decorum.
That is something I value about it, though.
Yeah.
Because there are some times where I go into an audition. This is back, obviously, when I was doing stage acting when I was younger.
Well, you're a stage actor again now.
Yeah. But I even took acting classes in college just because I loved acting.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because especially in college, I'd be around all my like peers.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I feel like a fucking idiot. Like I feel stupid, like really like diving into this because they're doing it because it's an easy class.
Oh, and you loved it.
And I loved it. So I was like, I feel weird like diving in. And then to your point, our professor would be like, no.
Yeah.
Brennan, I know you can do this.
Yeah.
I don't care who's here. Like, fuck all these people. Like, do the role. And I'd be like, yeah.
Yeah. No, wait, what's your zodiac sign?
Guess.
Oh, God.
I have a bit about it. You've heard the bit about it.
Oh, you're a Gemini.
Yes.
You're a Gemini. It's a great bit. It's a really great bit.
Thank you.
A really great bit. Oh, so wait. So I wind up getting in. That's like the crazy.
How did you? So you just? Oh,
Well,
your family
Yeah.
wrote a check.
No. They did not write a check. My family has never supported anything that I've done in my life. Like, they've really been like, okay.
You're like, I took that. You come from a well-to-do family, and I flipped it around.
That was really, that was treacherous.
really hurtful.
Very, yeah, no. I wish that they supported what I did. That would be great. I probably wouldn't be an alcoholic. I probably would be fine. No, I wouldn't. But no, I wound up getting in, and like, it was the biggest culture shock, and it's the biggest culture shock I've ever experienced.
How do you find out you get in? Let's talk about that. Like that moment. Was it a letter, a phone call?
It was one of two. Well, it was two things actually. It was one where the dean of the program, there were concerns about letting me attend this school because like I had a record. And so they were.
Oh, so you had gotten like in trouble.
I had gotten in a little bit of trouble.
But when you say record, do you mean like arrested or like in trouble at
disciplinary
school?
Disciplinary record at school, just for like stupid.
Oh,
like,
so they looked into. Well, obviously it's a boarding
no.
school, so they look into.
They look into everything. They look into absolutely everything. And like I had all of this stuff around. Like I talk back, and I still do. Like because I question things. And they, you know, he has this conversation with me. This guy that I think now is like in a lawsuit for sexually assaulting people, which is like the highest honor that an acting teacher can achieve. But like this guy, you know, he kind of he grills me on like, you know, you're young, you haven't been doing this long. Like, is this what you actually want to do? Like, are you going to be a good boy? And I was like, yes, I'm going to be a good boy. And then like
The
that
best
day,
boy.
the best. And for a while I was.
Were you really?
Oh my God. I was so.
Just grateful to be there.
I was so happy to not be in my house.
Are you out at this? Well, you said you came out and then went back in.
No,
So
I'm
you're
not.
Still back
I'm not
in.
out, but I'm receiving favors from men. But you know, if you're receiving them, you're not gay.
Totally.
If you're giving them, you're gay.
Absolutely.
And
something I've lived my entire life by.
I imagine in football there's a lot of that.
There's not a lot of it.
There's not?
No.
I had a massage client that played for it's like because you know I've told you I used to be a sex worker. I had a massage client that he played for the Green Bay Packers.
Massage client.
He played for the Green Bay Packers, and he said that there was a lot of that.
I mean, maybe on certain levels, and I'm sure there are communities within the football community.
Yeah.
But obviously, I played through college, and I played in college in South Florida, so it's like a
Who
lot
did you
of
play for?
Florida Atlantic University.
Oh, word.
Oh, go Owls!
Florida Atlantic University. That sounds fun.
It was super fun.
Yeah, that sounds like a good time
Yeah,
actually.
I tell people all the time because I've had 8 concussions, so I had to medically
You've
white
had
shirt.
8 concussions.
Yeah, I had to
so
stop
you're
playing
like
football.
Aaron Hernandez, kind of.
Yeah, just like Aaron. I played against Aaron Hernandez actually in college.
Oh God.
Just like Aaron Hernandez.
Oh my God.
So,
Sorry to bring.
do you
him
want to
up.
come out to a field with me later? I'm gonna bury you in a basement.
You know, depending on the day, I would take you up on that. I'm like, please.
But so I'm sure it's in the community, but it's not as prevalent. Like it wasn't around. I was probably the most effeminate person on the team.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, and you're not that effeminate. Not that effeminate.
I'm pretty effeminate.
I was like, you've got some limp wrists, but you're good.
You should see me on Hannah Burner's TikToks. People are always like, "What's with the guy doing the wrist thing?" And
I
I'm
love
like,
that.
This is how I talk.
That's amazing.
So you get into the school, you get a stern talking to about
Yeah.
your drug abuse.
Yeah.
Did you? Was it on your file that you had been doing drugs, or was it just getting in trouble? Like, for
it was just
disruption
getting in
and talking
trouble.
back.
Disruption and talking back, but I am one of those people you could look at me and just tell.
Yeah.
Like I remember this guy says to a teenager, we were talking about something, and we were talking about virginity or something, and I wasn't a virgin, and I said something.
Hard flex.
I know, right? I've had sex with women.
Gross.
I know. I feel so bad for them. That was probably terrible. But he said something. He was like, "There's nothing innocent about you," and I was like, now I'm like, that is not a great thing to say to a kid,
No,
probably.
a child, yeah.
But I looked like someone that did drugs.
Yeah.
And
You're 16, 17, but you look like you've
yeah,
seen
you
some
look like
things.
you've had a hard life. You
Yeah.
look like you've experimented with some stuff. And I smoked too, which I vape, and
You love vaping.
I love-
You love vaping so much. You were like, "Can I vape in the studio?" I was like, "It's an hour, Austin."
I do love. Well, I quit smoking and then I picked up vaping.
That's awesome that you quit smoking.
I miss it a lot. It's the one thing I miss. That's not true. That's not true. I miss vaping. I miss vaping.
Actually.
I miss vaping and I miss mushrooms. Those are
Okay.
the two things that I'm like, those are great.
You miss those? That's it?
That's it. That's literally it.
Oh, really?
I do not miss alcohol.
A part of it is the lifestyle that I miss. Like
In what
staying
way?
up- Just being that guy, which is actually, it's
You
ironic.
do comedy, so I imagine it's
I mean,
pretty similar.
yeah, no, it's absolutely pretty similar, but it's just weird to like go to a party and everyone's having like a drink, and I'm like, this is fucking like, let's go.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
we're gonna
yeah.
do it. Let's do it.
Yeah.
So I kind of miss being like that guy where it's like, let's fucking go, and like I don't know.
Well,
it's just
because you like stapled yourself and stuff. Yeah.
Brendan Staples himself. You can
Yeah,
look it up on
it's
YouTube.
there.
But that's actually before I even started drinking. I did that. But I've always had that kind of intensity.
Okay. Oh, because of you're the.
I didn't
jackass
start drinking.
generation.
Yeah. I didn't start drinking until I was like 18, 17,
For religious
18.
purposes.
No, I came from like my brother and sisters were super popular and would go to
Yeah.
parties and stuff. I talk about this in the one man show, and like I have an ex stepdad who was very abusive and an alcoholic. So I was just always like, oh, drinking. And people would have a couple drinks and then tell you something and then not remember it the next day. And I was like, so as a kid, I'm like, oh, drinking makes everyone liars and violent. Like I hate drinking. I hate it. And so then I talked about this when Joe List was on the show because he had a similar experience. I then tried alcohol at 17. My twin sister had a party and she invited me.
You're a twin.
Yeah.
I didn't know you were a twin. That's amazing.
Yeah, she invited me and it was really weird because like her and I weren't super close until our senior year of high school. And I was like, oh, this is going to be so much fun. And I tried a shot of 99 bananas.
Wait, I think I remember that.
And I was like, all my anxiety kind of went away. My like depression, and I was like, this is awesome.
No.
So like I thought it was, and it is poison. I thought it was poison for so long, and then when I tried it, I was like, "Oh, this is the greatest thing ever made."
No, it's absolutely amazing. That's how I felt. Bombay Gin was my first. Bombay
Really?
Sapphire. Yeah, that was my first. That was my first drink
When
ever.
how old were you when you had your first drink?
God, I was 15.
Okay.
I think 15. And
So in that 2-year span, you really
Oh my
let
God!
it rip.
It got so real so fast. I totaled a car.
Tell that story.
Oh my God! It's so terrible. It's so.
I mean, if you don't want to, you don't have to.
No, I
but-
wasn't even that drunk. That's the thing. I was, but I had my license for maybe a month. Like I don't know why. And I grew. I had a really big backyard. So
Of course you
down
did.
south. Yeah, down south you would have people
Down south?
Yeah, you'd go and you'd party in the woods.
Yeah. Oh
and
yeah, that was a big thing. Yep.
Totally. And I remember we were going to pick up more people and bring them, and I was like, I'll drive, I'm fine. And that's a big part of my story is drinking and driving.
Mm-hmm.
I was a great drunk driver, very, very good at it. And I remember we picked up these people, and so I had a full car of people. And we picked them up at a McDonald's. I'm taking them to my house. I'm supposed to yield, and I guess I just didn't know what yielding was. And so I went left, like across like a 4-way intersection, and got plowed into. And luckily, no one died. But
Were there were obviously injuries?
no, actually, no one
Oh
was
wow!
injured.
Everyone kind of walked away.
Everyone walked away
That's awesome.
unscathed.
Thank
And then
God.
years later, this one girl, what was her name was like Bridget or something. She was a bitch. She sent me this nasty fucking message where she was like, "You were drinking and driving," and I was like, "You got in the car. You got in the fucking
cannot
car."
stand people who won't take accountability for their actions.
Exactly.
And that's a big thing that I learned in the super secret program I'm in is taking accountability. Well, I get emails sometimes where people are like, "You're not supposed to talk about
fuck off.
it." Yeah,
Tell that to Jamie Lee Curtis.
Yeah, right. That's an interesting poll.
Yeah, no, but but wait, where were we?
So you get into the school, you get a stern talking to. The first little bit you're there, you're actually on your best
Very
behavior.
good boy.
And then what happens?
I find my tribe.
Okay.
Like I find my people, and I found them. There was this balcony. It was a pickle jar balcony. And that's where people would go to smoke cigarettes. The high schoolers would
And you
go.
were smoking at this point.
Yeah. I've always loved smoking. I've loved cigarettes since I was like a little kid. I've loved the smell of them. I just think it's always gonna look cool to me.
See, I had the same reaction to cigarettes that I did to drinking, where I was like, "Oh, I'll never do that. That's gross. That's disgusting." And then I went to rehab. For the first time I went to rehab, I gained all this weight.
How many times did you go to rehab?
I've been to one rehab, one detox.
Oh, word.
So, but I gained all this weight because I was eating all this candy because you have a really bad sweet tooth.
Yeah.
And then a buddy of mine was like, "Hey man, because I have body dysmorphia and I'm obsessed with that kind of stuff." And he was like, and I was so upset about, "You're an actor, you do too."
No, no, it's just gay culture is to have an eating disorder.
But I was so like pissed off. I was gaining all this weight, and my buddy was like, "Hey, you know what you can do instead of eating all that candy out of the vending machine? Just smoke cigarettes." And I was like, "I would never smoke." And I'll never forget the first time I smoked, like actually smoked a cigarette in rehab, sitting out at the picnic tables. We're all drinking I was drinking grape soda at the time.
Wow.
But the reason it sticks in my head is I was like, this might as well be a mixed drink, because I was getting all lightheaded because I had never smoked before.
Oh, yeah.
So I felt like almost like a little buzzy.
Yeah.
And I was drinking a drink and I was talking with my friends at the rehab, and I was like, oh, this is awesome.
It's amazing.
No wonder everybody smokes.
Yeah.
This is great.
What's your brand?
Newports.
Oh, wow.
Well, it was a heroin addict that got me into smoking.
Yeah,
so.
okay. All right. I went through a Newport phase. I did.
I try to, it's interesting too. I don't know if it's because it's the first cigarettes or because of the menthol or what, but like if I go to bum a cigarette from someone, which I rarely do, and they like pull out Marlboro Reds, I'm like, never mind.
Yeah. Wait, do you still smoke?
Oh yeah.
Oh, good. All right, just checking.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. Oh my. It makes me so sad.
I have a whole bit where I go, I don't vape, I smoke like a grown up.
Yeah, no, I like that. Because it's very nice, but it's not the same.
It's not. It's the fire. Because when I got out of rehab, I was like, I have to quit smoking. I started smoking at 25.
Yeah.
I'm not going to keep smoking. I have to quit. And I started vaping.
Yeah.
And this is, back in 2013 when the vapes weren't what they are now.
They were different, yeah.
And I was like, this sucks.
Yeah.
Like, this isn't fucking
not the
smoking.
same. It's not. There's nothing romantic about it
Oh
either.
my God.
Yeah.
The second show I ever did in New York City, John Cafaro, fantastic photographer, been on the show on my podcast before. I was at a show and I stepped outside to smoke, and he was taking stills of the comedy show. And I was going outside, and John turns to me and goes, "Hey, wait, are you about to smoke that?"
Yeah.
And I said, "Yeah." He goes, "That's just a cigarette?" And I go, "Yeah, it's just a regular cigarette." He goes, "You mind if I take some pictures of you smoking your cigarette?"
that.
Because nobody does it anymore.
Yeah.
Everyone's vaping or smoking
Yeah.
weed. He's like, yeah, just like a classic like smoking picture.
It's very retro.
And I was like, fuck yeah, let's do
Fuck
it.
yeah.
So you find your tribe.
Yeah, I found my tribe, and I found my people. They're great, and I had these friends. They were mainly. It was like one other actor who I love, and I'm still friends with most of these people.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, no, they're wonderful. Modern dancers, visual artists, and
Oh, so it's not just a boarding school for actors. It's a boarding school for arts.
You
said
also,
it was an art school.
It's also a college too,
Okay.
which is another thing that's just insane.
What was the name of it again?
The University of the North Carolina School of the Arts.
Okay. So it's a part of the UNC.
Yeah. And yeah, I find these.
That's a lot bigger than I thought it was then.
It's
Well, UNC is a huge school
my graduating class was 100 people. So like
for the School of the Arts.
for the School of the Arts. So like School of the Arts is probably maybe 2,000 people, like tops on the entire campus, college and high school combined. It might be bigger now, but like I find these people, and it was also the first time that I like met people that I liked, and I didn't know that I didn't like people before.
You would never know because you had no...
I had no reference point.
Yeah.
Absolutely no reference point. And so I meet these people, and like, they're just so fun and cool, and like they're into weird shit. Like, and so then it became like, okay, we would get high on the weekends.
Of course.
We'd go under this bridge, and Winston-Salem's not a safe place either. Like, it's insane that we did what we did. Because one time there was a homeless guy that was living under the bridge, or an unhoused person that was living under the bridge, and we would go and we would get high, and then we would just like
chill.
Just chill. And then escalated, and like, because it's a college, we would get the college students to buy us alcohol, and then we would drink in the dorm rooms. And then the girls would sneak into the guy dorm rooms because they're separated. And so it just kept getting, and then I was buying cocaine and ecstasy. Wait, it gets better. Off a cafeteria worker. Like,
it's always the people in the kitchen.
it's so bad. It's so bad. And she was amazing. She gave me her phone number. She was like,
How long does this take? How long does it take for you to get to the school until you're buying coke and ecstasy off the cafeteria worker?
4 months, probably. Like 4
Oh,
months.
so that's fast, man.
I know, but
You said I was on my best behavior when I first got there. That was like a week.
But I was so good. I was very I was a very
For that
good
week,
boy.
I was
For
fantastic.
that week, I was fucking fantastic. And like one thing that I do pride myself on is I'm an insanely hard worker.
Yeah.
Like I'm really like I definitely, I was the least experienced person in my class in terms of acting. And I knew that I wanted to do it for college as well. And so I had a list of, it was very much a Legally Blonde moment of like, I had a list of 10 schools I was applying to. They were all the hardest schools to get into. And I remember the dean of the program, he was like, I think you should have some safeties. And I was like, no, like
No.
I don't.
If you have a plan B, you don't have a plan A.
I don't need a safety school. And I got in everywhere except one.
Which one did you not get into?
Juilliard. It still haunts me.
It haunts all of
It
us.
haunts me to this day because like
Where did you end up going?
I went to SUNY Purchase, which
Okay.
at the time it was ranked number 1 at the Hollywood Reporter. I don't know why I'm referencing. It's just validating
your
my
thing, yeah.
existence.
You love the Hollywood Reporter.
I do love the Hollywood Reporter. That and what's the other one? Deadline or Dateline? No, it's Deadline. It's Dateline's the
Dateline's the show.
Yeah, no.
It's not Deadline. It's
What
is it
is-
Deadline?
It's something. It's on IMDb.
It's Dead something.
Dead something, and
Deadspin?
It's something like
Deadline?
that. It's just like it's entertainment news. But anyway,
Yeah.
long story short, get there, go, get into drugs. It's amazing. It's so much fun. And then like, I guess
Is this at SUNY or is this still at? The
this
School
is
of the
still
Arts?
at School of the
Okay.
Arts. I know I'm not linear at all, and I guess something happened where I quit trying to hide it, and I got in a lot of trouble. I got.
So you just stopped like trying to be sneaky about
Yeah,
your
I stopped
drugs
trying to
and
be
booze
sneaky,
and
and I got caught drinking in the kind of like the cafeteria area or
Yeah.
something. We were drinking Bacardi 151.
And you say we, so it wasn't just you.
Oh, it was me and a dancer friend,
Okay.
and I don't.
Right out of the bottle, or did you have it in?
We
like
had
a,
it in little sippy cups.
Of course you did.
Like little sippy
You have
cup.
to.
Yeah.
We used to take it like Dr Pepper, pour half of it out, and then pour rum in the other.
Oh, word.
Yeah,
I love that.
So then it just looks like you're drinking a Dr Pepper.
Yeah,
Even though
yeah.
you're screaming at a tree, but nobody knows. So what happened? Did they try to expel you? Like what?
Oh, this is actually so I got caught because I was drunk, so I decided I was very drunk. So I was like, they were like, he's drunk, and I knew that they were gonna drug test me because if you get caught drinking, they're gonna drug test you.
That's
And
not good.
I was like, this is not
Can I get 3 to 4 days?
literally. So I call my very very enabling mother, and I'm like, I need to get off this campus now because they're going to drug test me. I take a 2.5-hour cab ride, or 1.5-hour cab ride from Winston-Salem to Charlotte, North Carolina, to avoid being drug tested.
So you were just like, oh, I'm leaving for the weekend or
I
whatever?
was like, my parents need me to come home now, and they can't argue with that,
Yeah.
like because I guess they can.
Parents
be
pay
sued.
tuition. Yeah.
Exactly. Well, technically, I got a scholarship.
Ooh.
I know. And so, I know so much privilege, just gone.
Soaked in it.
And so I spent the weekend.
You're the problem.
I
No.
am the problem. I'm absolutely the problem. I spent the weekend. Do you remember niacin?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, just flushing my system with
Detoxing,
niacin,
yeah.
burning up, and I came back and I passed the drug test with flying colors.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, and then I was like, and then I was mad at them for catching me drinking for a really long time.
Did you when you passed the drug test, were you like, I just was having some drinks with some friends, and you guys are over here acting like I'm a degenerate?
No, even worse. I was like, because I can cry, like that is
On
something.
command, yeah.
Yeah, I can do that. I mean, I might need to like go in a closet for like 5 minutes and like prepare myself, but like I can cry.
I can do it with certain topics.
Yeah.
Like I'll be telling a story about something, and if I bring up like a certain thing, which I
Yeah.
won't do now because I'll start crying, I'll literally, my brain will just start crying.
That's good.
So I mean, it's a good skill to have, but it's weird because I like was telling a story to my manager the other day, and I almost started crying because I was taught the story was about a specific topic, and I was like, this is not appropriate.
No, you don't need to cry. Don't cry to your manager.
But it's like my brain almost has this like pathological thing. Like if I start talking about a certain topic, I'll just start crying.
I think it's because you're a Gemini.
Or bipolar too.
Or bipolar too. Yeah, exactly. Wait, which one is Maria Bamford? I think she's bipolar 1, right?
She's one.
That's like the mass. The
one is the one you're born with.
That's the Britney one, I think.
Yeah.
Like yeah.
The one is the one. Bipolar 1 is the one that you're like born with, and it's like a thing.
Oh, interesting.
Bipolar 2 is like, in my experience, the way I experience it, it's a lot of manic episodes. It's like screaming at 1 second, crying the next. Like very very up and down.
It just sounds like an actor to me.
Yeah.
I'm like, I think you could do it.
I'm an actor.
Yeah,
baby.
you're a thespian.
I'm a thespian. So you get caught, you pass the drug test, and then you said the way you handled it after.
I just started crying, and I was talking. I know.
How could you do this to me?
No, literally, I was like, my parents' marriage is so bad, and like I was saying that like my parents were going through, which they were. It was a very long divorce.
But you were throwing them under the bus.
Yeah, I was like, this is why this is happening.
Yeah.
It's not because I have a problem or anything. It's because of them. And it's like I'm not even that involved in my parents. I've never been that involved in their lives, which is so weird as a kid of parents to say. like I've never really been a part of their lives. And then everything just kind of it chilled after that. And
were you still doing what you were doing? Or were you like, maybe I should take it easy?
No, I was still doing what I was doing. I was just very, very good at not getting caught at that point. Like,
so you were paying more attention to not getting caught, though.
Very, very close attention to not getting caught, and very, very careful about who I told that I was doing this, because the guy that ran the program that I was in, he had people spy on me.
Yeah.
Like he was trying to catch me.
People everywhere.
Yeah, and I was like, dude, why are you trying? And then it's so funny in retrospect because I'm like, you were sexually assaulting people and you were trying to catch me drinking. Yeah. Like, get a life, you know? That's very. But yeah, so I make it out. It's all good.
So then you end up going to SUNY.
I do, yeah.
Do you keep partying and stuff while you're there?
Oh yeah, a little too. That is like, to this day, probably one of the weirdest times of my life, because I did overdose technically while I was there.
What happened?
I remember you had these freshman crew assigned.
So you're a freshman when this happened?
Oh yeah. Oh no, I've literally been there for like 7 weeks. It took and
was it a big transition going, because you went from one art school to another art school? Was it? So I'm assuming it wasn't that big of a transition.
It was a big transition to, especially going from having a curfew. Like I was locked in a dorm room at 10 p.m.
Okay.
Going from having a curfew
to nobody gives a shit.
No one gives a flying fuck. Everything's available to you. Like I had a summer job that summer. I spent every dime I had in like the first month on drugs.
Really?
Like, yeah. Oh, I was done. I was tapped out. I had no money.
The life of an artist
is great. It's great. But I remember I was doing a freshman crew assignment. I think the play was The Time of Your Life or something like that. And I was like, it is so funny because I'm at this, it's a thing of just not recognizing privilege at all. I'm like, I'm at this art school and I'm like, God, why do I have to work? Like, this is stupid. And when my dancer friend from boarding...
You are the problem.
I am the problem. My dancer friend from boarding school was like, I got a handle of Svedka. Like when you
Hell
get
yeah.
out. Yeah. And I was
Love
like,
Svedka.
I was like, oh my God, this is going to be great. And one of my skills one of my skills at the time was that, I could chug vodka really easily. Like, and I would chug it as kind of like a parlor trick or something. And I chugged half a liter of Svedka. And then I did some blow, and I had Klonopin at the time too. So I took some of that. And then I woke up. I woke up in the hospital, and I was just like, "What the?"
Yeah, that'll do it.
Yeah, and it sucked. I was like, "No." And then I tried to not. I was like, maybe no one will notice. Like, maybe the teachers won't know that this happened. And they
Was this on the weekend?
Yeah, it was on a
Okay,
weekend. It was
thank
on a
God.
Friday. It was on a Friday. But I go into acting class and you have to wear all black
Mm-hmm.
because you have to be neutral. And I go in and I have this massive bruise
From the IV, yeah.
clearly there, and I'm clearly like I am the person. I'm always the person in the room that I think people are like, is he okay?
Yeah.
Like, and
I'm
then
familiar with that.
yeah, and then from there it just like it spiraled and it got weird really quick. Like
So after that happened, did you try to clean it up a little, or were you still like, oh, that was... Because the first time I ever got alcohol poisoning was in college. I think I was a junior.
Yeah.
Because I had stopped playing football, and once I stopped playing football, my addiction got out of control.
Yeah, that happens.
And I remember one of my closest friends picked me up from the hospital. Daniel Bearcat, he's been on the show before. He was the original drinking buddy. That's where the name comes from.
Oh.
He picked me up from the hospital, and he was like, not lecturing me, but he was like, what's going on, man? Like, we all like to party, but like, you went to you got alcohol. Like, you had to go to the hospital. And I was like, yeah, man, I know. And then literally he dropped me off. And as soon as his car was out of eye line, I started drinking again.
Yeah, of course. Why would you
'cause
not?
I was like, fuck this.
Yeah, no. It's also that thing too of like, I have this sensation in me of like, it's very like if you want a show, I will give you a show.
Yeah.
Like,
it goes back to what we were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
Where the thing I miss is like being the center of attention at a party.
It's the best. It's
Where
the
you're like,
absolute
yeah, let's
best.
fucking go.
It's the absolute best. Well, and then like, so then it's mandatory that I voluntarily leave. Like they were like, you were gonna die.
The school.
Oh, the school. Yeah.
So you got kicked out.
Oh yeah. Like
How, freshman year?
freshman year.
Get the fuck
I
outta here.
barely was there. And there are people I went to school with that are like famous now. Like they're actually, you've talked about one before, Zoe.
Yeah. Oh, you went to school with Zoe?
I did go to school with Zoe. She left right before I got there, but she would come back to campus occasionally, and she was dating Shia LaBeouf at the time, I think. And so that was someone, but then there are two other.
She is a sweetheart.
Yeah, one of the most beautiful people in the entire world.
I tell people that all the time. People
Yeah.
talk about like, oh, I don't know. When she walked into the restaurant, like everybody
She's
stopped.
stunning. Yeah, I mean, her mom is Lisa Bonet, and
Yeah.
her dad is Lenny Kravitz.
Well, I mean, and Channing, to his credit, I mean, he's
stunning.
very
He's gorgeous.
It was like when they walked in.
No, you
everyone
don't
was
have
like,
to sell me on that. Like, you really don't have to.
But when they
explain
walked into
Channing
the
Tatum.
restaurant, we were just kind of like, all right, pack it up. Let's
I
all go
don't-
home.
Yeah, you don't need to explain Channing Tatum to anyone. I think most men would agree that Channing Tatum is a fine specimen.
Yeah.
Like,
It's interesting, too, because he's in his 40s. And I was like, dude,
is
you
he in
look-
his 40s now?
I was like, you look like you're 24.
Yeah, no, that's Hollywood. I mean, like, it's very, yeah, no. But, like, so, yeah.
You get kicked out as a
I got
freshman.
kicked out as a freshman.
Or asked to voluntarily leave.
Asked to voluntarily leave, and I didn't want to go home. That was the...
So where did you go?
I went and started working as an actor. Like, I wound up in the Berkshire... No, someone actually...
Tell me you used...
Of course.
SUNY on your resume.
No. I literally, I pretend that, like, for a long time, I pretended that never happened.
Okay.
Like,
I thought you would be like putting it on.
No.
Classically trained at.
I'm not that bad. Like, I understood the politics.
As you said yesterday during my set, boundaries.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, and I knew, like, it's such a small world. People are gonna know.
Yeah.
Like, it's just it.
So you just went and started acting.
Yeah.
Are you still in? Where are you at this? Because SUNY's in New York, isn't it?
SUNY's in New York. I wound up in Massachusetts.
Okay.
I wound up in the Berkshires doing Pericles, a Shakespeare play. And I was on, and of course, within 30 minutes of being there, I found the one other person in the cast, or the two other people in the cast that were gonna go as hard as I could go. And I spent, I think I was there 10 weeks or something like that. Maybe.
Doing Pericles?
Doing Pericles.
Quick question, just an aside, because I know acting is very difficult,
Yeah.
especially like maintaining a livelihood doing
Yeah.
it. Are you getting paid? Do you have a place to live? Like, how did all this work?
Yeah, you have a place to live. You're not.
Do they put you up?
They put you up.
Okay.
You're not. I mean, as a kid, you think that you're rich because, and I was.
You don't have to pay rent
I was
or anything.
19. Yeah, like you think like, oh my god, like this is amazing.
How much are you getting paid for like food and stuff?
You're not getting paid for food at all. Are you
What
talking
I mean
about a
is like
stipend?
not even a stipend. Just like, so they're putting you up. So they're
Yeah.
obviously like, well, we don't have to pay you X. Obviously your housing's taken care
Yeah.
of. So how much are they paying you per performance? Like for like
per
live?
like per week.
Yeah.
Like it was something ridiculous. Like I think like $210 per week or something
Okay.
like that. Because at that point, that's non-union. That's not.
Yeah, well, and then
it's not-
also like you don't have to pay rent, so
Yeah.
you just get $210 to like
yeah,
basically
and you
live your
think
life.
it's fun.
Yeah.
Like you think that you're doing like amazing. Like yeah, you think that you're like Lindsay Lohan, and you're not. But
that's not bad. I mean, to have housing and then to
Yeah.
get 210
And-
just to do the thing you love.
yeah,
like
in the
that's-
off-season
I would take
Berkshires.
that. I
Yeah,
would
no, not at this point in your
no,
life.
not
no.
no.
But
You
yeah,
see the studio we're in? Of course I
mean,
would.
it's very nice. But yeah, I wound up in Western Mass, and like that's the craziest year of my life. Like
So at 19,
at 19, and I wound up.
were you doing sex work at this point?
No. I didn't get into that until I got sober. Like, yeah, that was
Fun fact.
yeah, fun fact. I'm in Western Mass. I'm like I have an amazing prescription for Klonopin. I'm doing this play and everything's fine, but like that, like I mean, there's no one is watching over me
Yeah.
at that point. It's just like, are you going to show? And I don't remember a lot of the play at all. Like I have no recollection
I'm
of
very
doing
familiar,
it.
yeah.
Yeah.
There's so many times I've gotten on stage because I started doing stand-up way before I ever got sober.
Yeah.
There's so many times I've gotten on stage and been like, people have been like, yeah, you played that room. I was like, no, I didn't.
See, that's so weird to me because I remember I did stand up once when I definitely had COVID. I'm not like I didn't take a test. I was like, I have COVID. Like it's fine. I'm gonna wear a mask. I'll take it off as soon as I get. It was well, I'm not gonna say where it was. But I got up there and I had COVID fog and like I forgot everything. So if I'm not like if I don't drink a Celsius or a Red Bull or something, I'm fucked.
Yeah.
Like it's not. I can't imagine doing stand up comedy.
I have tapes of me doing stand-up comedy drunk, and it's brutal to watch.
Oh, God.
I'm just like screaming at people, like they're trying to give me the light, and I'm like, I'm doing like, don't give me the lights. You come up here and get like doing an Arnold impression,
that's
and
good,
I'm like,
actually.
I'm like, come get me. I'm very good at voices,
Yeah.
but I'm like, come get me off the stage, and I'm like watching it in horror, like. Who the fuck is it? So much so that when I went to rehab in 2013, and then when I fell off the wagon in 2015, I swore I would not get on a stage as long as I was drinking.
Oh wow.
I was like, I have too much respect for the game.
That's beautiful.
Well, you kind of went the opposite. You don't remember doing the play.
Yeah, I don't remember doing it at all.
I want to, because we're gonna have to have you come back on. Because
Oh
you have
shit!
so many
Oh
stories.
shit!
Yeah.
Oh shit! I'm so sorry.
No, this is what the show is.
Oh, good.
We
Okay.
literally, these are the best kind of episodes where we combine the storytelling of how you got here with
Yeah.
the drinking. When did you? Because we got to talk about your sex work and moving to New York and getting into comedy. Because this is a lot of acting. When did you decide to get sober? Like, what happened?
I mean, it was super uneventful.
Was it?
Oh yeah.
Was it?
Everything bad had happened.
It already
at
happened,
that point.
yeah.
It had already happened, and I was just.
How old were you?
I was 22 when I got sober.
Okay.
I was 22. I had already how dark do you want me to go right now?
I mean, we've got a few minutes.
Oh.
I just want to the moment when you were like. I mean, you can get as dark as you want. I
Yeah.
talk about I talk about my attempted suicide and stuff on here, but. When you were like, oh, I gotta, something's gotta give.
Yeah, I think it was. I had gone out with. I was seeing this therapist, and she was like, "You need to quit drinking," and I was like, "No, I don't." And she had said, "Well, next time you go out, I challenge you not to drink," and I was like, "That's stupid." And so I go out with a girlfriend. I'm like, "I'm gonna have one drink. It's fine." And then one turned into 12, and
As it does.
Yeah, exactly. It was great. I wound up on the Upper East Side, going home with this guy.
Oh, so this is in New York, obviously.
Yeah, this is at this point I'm back in New York. I go home with this guy on the Upper East Side. I come back to Hell's Kitchen. I call my ex and have him come over, and then I wake up with him. We're both on my floor, and I'm like, oh, this is just the rest of my life if I don't quit drinking.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this is because I just make really dumb decisions.
Yeah.
Like,
I've got 8 arrests to prove it.
Yeah, I might not die, but and I mean, I probably would have, but no, I don't. My ex, I was like, fuck, no,
Yeah.
this is bad.
There's a line in a movie that I heard that I say to a lot of people I sponsor and stuff. It's doomed youth is very romantic.
Yeah,
like when
it
you're
is.
young and you're like 19 and you're
absolutely.
wild and free and you're having a good time. Doomed middle age is just sad.
It's really sad.
So you got sober much younger than I did, but it was one of those things where like I was approaching my 30s.
Yeah.
And it was the same kind of thing where it's like I was in the hospital again and it was like, dude, you really? Like a doctor's telling me you should have been dead a few hours ago, and it's like, yeah, I've heard that before, like blah blah blah.
Get
but
a
it's
life.
Like, but it's like you really want to keep pushing this? You want
Yeah.
to keep riding this train? So for you woke up next to your ex on the floor and
Yeah.
you're like, yeah, I don't want to
This
do
is
this
bad.
anymore.
This is really bad. And then, I mean, I feel so weird being sober because I did not want it as much as other people.
Yeah.
I did not work for it as hard as other people, which is like a theme in my
privilege.
story. Yeah. No, I am a hard worker though. But like,
Well, that's the one thing about being an addict. I tell my twin sister all the time, it's like a superpower.
yeah.
Like when I tell people what my schedule is on a day-to-day basis, they're like, how the fuck do you... I go, I used to do half this stuff hungover as shit.
Yeah.
So doing all of it completely sober is easy, actually.
Totally.
It's not that hard.
Yeah.
It's a superpower we have.
It is. It is. I think it's something. I think a lot of addicts are probably ADHD as well.
Oh,
which,
yeah.
like I'm super ADHD.
I'm a woman, and I talked about that when she was on my show.
Who? Oh, I thought
I'm
you
a
said.
woman.
I thought you said I'm a woman, and
No.
I was like,
I'm a woman.
congratulations, amazing.
But yeah, because she has real bad ADHD, and she was talking about how it has a lot to do with... One has a lot to do with the other.
Yeah. No. Absolutely.
This was so much fun.
Yeah. No. Thank you.
You
so
have
much.
to come back on.
I would love to.
I didn't realize... We didn't touch a single one of your
We
stories.
didn't. I'm so sorry about that.
No, that's not your fault. That's a good thing.
Okay. Good.
That means we have a lot more to talk about.
Oh, good. Word.
Plug everything one more time. Plug your social media. You never did that.
Oh, it's Austin with 4 N's JB on Instagram, and yeah, that's.
And then October 29th, super secret. Don't tell anybody.
Super secret.
I gotta bleep that now.
Do you? Yeah, you do have to bleep that actually.
Damn it, Austin. It's gonna be fun though because you'll say it and then it'll get bleeped and everyone's gonna be like, "Wait, what?"
Yeah. No. I'm into that. I hope I didn't violate a strike thing. Or
I'll
something
take
like
it out,
that.
don't
Yeah,
worry.
please.
Thank you everybody so much for listening at Brennan T Comedy on all social media, BrennanTComedy.com. Check out the one man show, the merch store, everything, and we'll talk to y'all next week. Oh, I'm gonna be in Philly October 6th and 7th. So check me out there, Jester Castle. That'll be fun.
You're so good at business. I was like, oh my god.